Most people my age die in hospital beds. I'm dying in a recliner, in a house that doesn't belong to me. Watching my own son slowly learn how to resent me, it didn't begin with anger. It began with love. A hug, a soft voice, and a key placed gently into my hand. "Dad, come stay with us." And it ended with something far more dangerous than shouting: silence. A silence so heavy, it presses against your chest, till even breathing feels like a burden. I am Arthur Hale. I'm 95 years old. And after everything I've seen, I've learned something that most people only understand when it's too late. The greatest act of love is not always staying close. Sometimes it's knowing when to quietly step away. If you are planning your future around your family, stop. You are standing at the edge of a mistake that doesn't look like a mistake at all. In fact, it looks like love. When I turned 90, life had already started to dim a little. The house felt too big. The nights felt longer. The silence louder. My son came to visit one evening. He looked around. Dust gathering where memories used to live. A fridge that had more emptiness than food. A man who once carried everything, now sitting still. And I saw it in his eyes, that quiet, heavy pity. He said, "Dad, come live with us. You shouldn't be alone anymore." It sounded like salvation, safety, warm meals, laughter of grandchildren, a second life. But what no one tells you is what comes after the moving boxes. The moment you walk into your child's house with your suitcase, something shifts. Not outside. Inside, you don't feel it immediately. At first, everything is beautiful. Dinner together, stories, noise, life. You feel rescued, but slowly. Like a shadow stretching across a room, things change. You start noticing small things. Conversations that pause when you enter. Smiles that arrive a second too late. Voices that drop. Just slightly. Not because they don't love you, but because your presence changes the room. You are no longer the father. You are no longer the man who built the house. You are a guest. And here's the truth. Most people are too polite to say a guest, even a loved one, eventually becomes weight. Not because of what they do, but because of the space they occupy. You begin to shrink. You hesitate before speaking. You think twice before offering advice. Because deep down, you know, this is not your territory anymore. I spent decades leading my life, making decisions, holding everything together. I was the center of my world. Then one afternoon, I became a man asking permission to adjust the thermostat. Do you know what that does to a person? It doesn't break you all at once. It erodes you, piece by piece, until one day, you don't recognize the man in the mirror. Everyone talks about money, savings, investments, security. But at 95, I'll tell you something no one teaches you. The most dangerous currency in the world is resentment. It builds quietly, like interest on a loan no one agreed to take. You think you're making life easier by moving in, but what you're really doing is borrowing against their freedom. And the cost is always paid in silence. I watched my son change. Not suddenly, gradually. Love became responsibility. Responsibility became routine. Routine became exhaustion. He would come home tired, wanting peace, wanting to sit with his wife, to breathe, to exist. But I was there, always there, a presence that couldn't be paused. And one night, I saw it. Not anger, not cruelty, just a quiet wish behind his eyes. A wish for space, for absence, for relief that is a pain no father is prepared for. To realize your presence has become a burden your child is too kind to admit. You think you're staying for connection, but sometimes you're suffocating it. Here's the truth. Love needs space. It needs distance to breathe. Closeness without boundaries turns warmth into weight. At 94, I made a decision. I left. A small apartment. One room. One window. Silence. And for the first time in years, I felt like myself again. Because dignity is not comfort. Dignity is control. It's having your own key, your own space, your own silence. When you can close a door from the inside, you are still a man. Distance changed everything. When my son visits now, we don't argue. We don't get tired of each other. We talk. We listen. We value the time, because distance removes the noise and leaves only what matters. And here's something even deeper. Your children need space to become themselves. Even at 40, 50, 60, as long as you are there, they are still adjusting, still performing, still carrying something invisible. But when you step back, you give them a gift.
Freedom.
And something even more powerful, the chance to miss you. And being missed is far more beautiful than being managed. People are terrified of being alone. They run from silence, fill it with noise, screens, voices, distractions. But silence is where life finishes its final chapter. At 95, you don't need more noise. You need truth. You need reflection. You need peace with your own story. Because in the end, that's all you truly own. Your story, and it deserves to end on your terms. Not as a side character in someone else's life, not as a responsibility, not as a problem being solved. I don't want to be remembered as the man in the guest room. I want to be remembered as someone who remained whole till the very end. So listen carefully. Stay in your space as long as you can. Keep your keys, guard your independence. Protect your dignity like it's your last possession. Because in truth, it is. If you felt even a spark of truth in these words, stay with me. There's more I've seen. More the world doesn't talk about. But for now, do one thing. Call your parents, not to move them in, not to manage them, just listen, because they don't want to be handled. They want to be heard. I'm Arthur Hale. I'm 95 years old. And if there's one thing I know, it's this. Love is not always about holding on. Sometimes it's about letting go. It's dignity.